Muy buenas noches to everyone. I hope everybody's doing well and as always enjoying family. Again, Tony, gracias for allowing me to get on your platform. Stories written by a current prisoner to share my stories. And to start off on the right note, again, muchísimas gracias to all for your kind words and most importantly for you guys' prayers. They really do mean a lot and I thank you from from the core. I really do thank you. Now to touch up on the last video that I did on how I expressed the invitation to have that one-on-one sit with you guys. If you had a positive message on how maybe you were on that road at one point or you had a strong addiction but you were able to overcome it and how it changed your life and how it turned it around for you and your family. And Tony did tell me that there's been a few people that have gotten in touch with the email, and we will be reaching out to you soon so we could have that sit down. And do know that this ain't just for Cali. If you're from out of state, but you have a similar story where you're on that road to destruction, and from one reason or another, you decided to correct your life and mainly pinpoint how you were on that, you know, on that walk of death and you turn around and how your life just turned out. Then you're invited as well. It's an open invitation for whoever has that, that from wrong to right story. I just want to make sure that we're able to expand on my message, and that there is an outlet besides going to prison or gangs or, you know, and how the game is will always find a way to trick you, to pull you back in and drag you with it. So please do know if you have a message about a strong addiction or something, the invitation is there. And like I said, we will be touching in pretty soon to those that already reached out. And I want to thank you. Thank you for trusting in me to share your story and in the hopes that, you know, that is not by myself, that it could actually be a few of us spreading the message or the right message on how it's never late to correct yourself and do something for yourself. Also, there was a message on here. I couldn't find the name, but he was asking or he was saying that it was a long shot, but he wanted me kind of to have a talk with his son and to seeing if I was able to say a couple words to him in the hopes that it could guide him in the right path. And no, it ain't a long shot. Like I said, I'm here basically to try to put something positive out there. And if you think that I could be any type of positivity for your son or daughter, excuse me, I don't remember, then it will be a great honor. Just please reach out to the email so we can have a conversation beforehand. And if we reach that point to where you still see fit of me speaking, then like I said, it'll be a great honor from me. Muchísimas gracias. Okay, well, on this story, I'm gonna share with you guys when I got busted, or how it happened, or what occurred during that time. Now, I do understand that by me doing so, there's going to be a lot of people that are going to maybe think differently of me, which I understand and I accept. But do know that I'm being as sincere as I can, as I gave you guys my palabra I would from when I started. So I attempt to, and I don't say things to glorify what I was or anything like that. I'm trying to keep it as sincere as possible with you. Bueno, well, I had gone and did some time in YA for. Well, I did some time for when they arrested me. That time was for being in possession of a stolen car, 2 ounces of of meth, and for sales, and for pointing a firearm at a police officer. Because we had gotten in a shootout earlier that day, and basically we were hiding out, and they cracked us, and I thought it was the norteños that were coming close to us, but it turned out to be a cop. So when I realized, I threw the gun away, but by that time it was too late. I had already pointed it to them, but I had gone away in that did time for that, and I had gotten out, and I lasted 30 days to where I caught this case, and it's just I remember the night that I started a big old war. There was peace. There was peace in my neighborhood and the norteños, and but a homeboy came over to my house, and he told me like, "Hey fool, give me a ride to the neighborhood." And I knew I had gotten arrested the last couple times like that, so I knew by me going back to my neighborhood, it was like, you know, ahí vamos otra vez. So I was really trying to at least get a job, but this was my ace due, so I decided to go ahead and give him a ride to the neighborhood. Now, when my neighborhood you go in, it's only one way in, and it's a dead end in the park. So I drove in. When I hit the park, I seen two norteños standing there. So where my mind was is I got mad, and I told my homeboy like, "Hey, fool, what's this? I'm over there losing time away from family and being locked up to get out and see this in the neighborhood." And he's like, "Man, I just got out a little bit ago. I never seen this." And so I just basically told him like, "Look, fool, I'm gonna give me about 5 minutes. I'm gonna go around, and by the time I go around, you come out and you jam them up. And if they say they're from this neighborhood, I'm gonna jump out and we'll go to town on them." So we did it. So, and my homeboy hit him up, and yeah, so I came out with a big tube, a metal tube. So I just started. I binked one, and I hit the other one in the back, and he took off though. So I came back, and I just grabbed that. I grabbed that norteño like if I was playing golf. So anyways, we took off, and later on that night, the norteños came in and they stabbed one of my homeboys. So by this time it was an open war, and I'm the one that had caused it. Because we ended up finding out that them two norteños, they were there visiting their mom that lived in the neighborhood there. So anyways, that happened, and the next day it was Friday, so I told him let's go look for them. So at that time I had a nine, I had a 9 millimeter and a 40 Glock. So we went to the house, and I grabbed both of them, and we went in every norteño's neighborhood. We parked and we got down and started walking around looking for them, and nada. It's because my neighborhood was known, that if you went and did something, that we were gonna go look for you. There was no buts or ifs about it. We were gonna go. So, anyways, we went in every neighborhood. We couldn't find them. So I ended up telling my homeboys, what, screw this. It's Friday. Let's go cruising. Now, while we were cruising, there was some parking lots in front of the JC, and there was some McDonald's there. They were parking the McDonald's, 3 cars loads, and they were outside. So I told my homeboy, like, hey, fool, pull in, pull in, pull in. So we pulled in, and I remember, leaning out the car window and just started, throwing my neighborhood and the side we were from. And then fool said something. One of them actually threw a bottle at the car because we were on the street from the parkings. Threw a bottle. They jumped in the cars and they whipped out, and we started chasing them, through the main street. And right when we hit, right before the downtown plaza where I grew up at, they hit the brakes. When they hit the brakes, we kind of swerved and passed them a little bit, and they got off the car and they started dumping. They started shooting towards the car. And on my paper, it even states, I was leaning out the window and I was like, like, come on, I'm throwing up the set and everything that I was from at that time. And but what I wanted to do was for them to come close to the car so I could start dumping at them, and I had forgotten though that my homeboy that was driving had a gun, and he leaned out the driver's side and shot. So when he shot, I heard him real close. So with the 40 Glock, you know, once he shot, I just seen him go whoa and duck down. So I jumped out the car and I started dumping at them. Now where I started dumping at them, it was on the boulevard and you know another main street. And how it was 2 gas stations and then 2 restaurants. But behind that gas station where they were shooting from, it was the freeway ran. But behind the gas station, there was a little alley that came out to the other avenue. So when they did this, they started running. Now I started chasing them behind there, and I went through the alley and I didn't see nobody, and I unloaded what the 40 Glock had, so I pulled out the 9. I was coming back. Now when I was coming back, I heard right there in the bushes, and there was a noise. So I went like this, and I saw, and there was an individual there, that I had hit him in the stomach. So when he was there, you know, I hit him in the head. I'm not gonna get into how many times I hit in the head. I'm just not. That don't matter. And I'm aware. But I did that, and as I kept coming, there was some other fool hidden in the bushes. Now I don't recall if the first fool I had hit in the stomach with the 40 Glock and that was hiding, and then the second guy was the one I hit in the back, because I hit one in the back and one in the stomach, and that's the reason why they were hiding in the bushes. But the second one, you know, I seen him there, and I finished unloading the rest of the clip of the 9, and I took off. We took off, and like I said, it was near the plaza, downtown plaza, and there was a creek, so I got to the creek and had a beanie on that day, and I had a blue jersey, so I took off the beanie and the blue jersey, threw the guns on there and the beanie, and I threw them, and I put on a black sweater, so we kept strolling, and about 3 blocks, a police hit us from behind, but he wouldn't turn on the light. So I told my homeboy, look, fool, just go out towards where I live, because where I lived, it was some kind of like apartments, but at the end, there was nothing but fields, like a lot of properties, but they were abandoned. So I told him, just go out towards that way, and once you hit there, I'll jump out and you take off. If it's just that one patrol, he's going to stick with the car, and I'll take off. But what we never contemplated, that they had already called it in. He didn't turn on the lights because they had put a roadblock on us over there. So by the time we seen it, you know, he crawled in like that, tried to break out. But by the time that I looked out the window, the dogs were almost already at the door. So I just said, man, boom, it's a wrap. And basically, they had a couple norteños that were there that night. They were on the patrol, they came, they pulled me out, and they flashed the light from the patrol they were in, and I think they asked them if that was me, but since I didn't have the beanie and the jersey no more, I don't know what they said, because they were going to take me actually to juvenile hall that day for violation, because I was wearing blue Nike Cortez and blue Ben Davis, and I was bald headed, and that was a violation himself. I couldn't be bald because there's tattoos on my head. So, but the gang test came, and the minute he seen him, he was like, "What do you mean? Nah, nah, nah. He's on parole." So anyway, they took me in to juvenile hall, and within the first 4 days, that was the 4 days. The first 4 days that I was there, I hit someone, I stabbed someone, and that's how I got kicked out of juvenile hall, and they shot me to the county jail because I was already 17, so they shot me out that way. And just to be sincere with everybody, that night when I picked up the guns and we went out, I knew I was gonna get busted. It had been a long time since I had drank and used anything, and that night I made a couple frios and I smoked them. I drank. I just knew, that's why what I can remember is like in flashbacks, if I make any sense. I don't recall living through it like as is. Through flashbacks and my paperwork, it all came together. But I was just lost that day. I wasn't that type of individual that I used to consume. I used to consume to get picked out. I never consumed to just get by. It is why I always try to keep away from everything. Because I knew once I kicked it off, it was just all bad. I lost touch with reality, which what happened this night. I was gone, to be sincere, and I used to be a mean person. I sincerely can say it from my heart. I didn't have no emotions. I was lost in that type of life. I really thought at this time that going to prison was nothing bad. Going to prison is just like I'm finally going to go to where I need to go. Because since a young age, I come from a city where it was mostly all norteño, so I knew that eventually it was going to be that. Either get busted or get smoked. I mean, I got busted when I was 17. And had already been shot 4 times, ran over, put in coma. Well, so I knew it was bound to happen. So to me, it was a badge of honor to actually survive and make it to prison. And plus, you used to see ratos come out the pinta and how they had that pool. So in my mind, it's like it's something. It's something to give you more more huevos when in reality it's stupid. It was just a dumb way to look at prison to be like a place to go to actually start earning the proper stripes. And and when I got busted, I was in county, and the thing that I told you guys that I was a dick, or excuse my language, because one of the ladies that was one of my victims' mom actually went and visited me. She used to go visit me. She's a nice Christian lady till date. And at this time, she would ask me like, "Look, I want you to tell me what my son's last words were." And I used to laugh, you know. I used to laugh at this lady, and I know I'm sounding, but I used to laugh at her, and she used to tell me like, "Look, I just need you to tell me so I can forgive you and let go of it." And I used to laugh and be like, "I don't need your forgiveness. I don't need your God's forgiveness either." And I told her, what happened is that your son played the game and he lost. I told him, "You really want to know what your son's last words were?" He was crying like a little, begging me not to kill him before I put lead in his head. And I know, I know everybody's like, "You fucking jerk," and I understand it. I now see, how lost I was and how stupid I was. But needless to say, this lady she's a beautiful lady to this day, man. She was one of my strongest supporters as I was in prison, always constantly writing me and sending me things and asking me to ask her for to ask God for forgiveness, and you know and she's one of my strongest pillars now, that when I walked away, and she knows we're in constant communication with each other, and she's helping me in my path to basically to forgive myself, because man, I did a lot of wrong, and I could sit here and tell you guys that I'm ready for death. I'm ready to go. But if someone tells you, "Oh, I'm ready to die," but um there's no fear in me, that's BS. That's straight up BS. Because I ain't afraid to die. I'm afraid of what comes next, because up until this point, I have never done anything positive. My life was always about living by a sword and shield. If you did something to me, I was going to think of 1,000 ways how to hurt you and get away with it. And now that I actually been having the opportunity to really see things as they are, and seeing how stupid I was, thinking that there was only one way to live, and it was, to always be with a constant shield and a guard, always having that little ego that if you try to poke it, I had to flex back, and it's a dumb way to live, But anyway, She's helped me seeing a lot of good things, or at least see the good and all the bad I did, Now do I see it like, oh, I'm being forgiven? No, I don't plan, or I don't want to be forgiven, because like I said, I accept what's happening. I accept my cross, but I don't want the only thing I did so far to be just wrong, But without getting off subject, I was really mean with this lady in the beginning, and you know, this is how God always maintained in my life. Even though I was so stupid and blind to see Him working in my life, she always was there. At least once a week, with a letter, I'm telling me how God loved me, and you know, and till this day, she calls me, and sometimes she just tells me like, "I hope you have a good day. Do pay attention to the things that happen around you and see God in them, and ask for forgiveness. Forgive yourself, and you know Like I stated, I was a person filled with hate. I seen a lot of bad happen. At first, joining a neighborhood was just to, you know, something happened and I ended up going that route. And I started seeing how people around me started getting hurt, and then the hate kept coming in and coming in, and then drugs came in, and it became a tornado of hate and no types of feelings or that. I actually do thank my higher power that he's been able to remove that from my life. Now the only objective I have is just hopefully the stuff that I went through could actually benefit someone in that aspect that they don't want it not to go the route I went, because it ain't fun. It ain't fun to see what your life becomes when you're at that time in your life where you know the only thing you're asking God is just give me a little bit more, just give me a little bit more, allow me to redeem myself a little bit more. And you know, it's sad what I did with my life, and it's also sad to sit here and tell everyone, when I was on the streets, I really don't remember half of the things I was living, and unless I was busted. But this is something I don't really like to conversate about, especially when it came to one of my victims, my moms. I understand we're out there, we're game banging, and it's what happens. Seen a lot of good homeboys die in front of me. It's just part of. But I didn't have the right to be like so with with his mom. With this lady. That, like I said, till date, she's a good Christian woman. I'll just say that. And I got busted, and I got sentenced to serve two life sentences. One as a juvenile and one as an adult. And my charges were there. Two murders. It was two attempted murders on innocent lives, because like I said, where the shooting happened was in where it was two gas stations, and discharge of a firearm in public or in city limits, and gang attachment. And like I said, man, I'm out of words, because like I stated to you guys, I don't like to talk about this. All I can assure you guys is that, I regret everything I did. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that, I wish I could take the time back, and nah, I can't do that. I can't dwell on that. I gotta think about the time I got left, and how to actually do something positive instead of dwelling on what already passed. And but the part I do regret is that I never looked for an outlet. Or maybe there wasn't outlets at that time. And that's why I'm so determined in the type of in what I'm doing right now. To put my story out there, to touch someone's head, or at least to have my story stick to them to the point where they could make different decisions when things occur. And now that you guys are helping me and allowing me, is like with other people, we're going to be able to reach a bigger audience, or more people out there, to the point where we can actually do something positive. It's it's my hopes, and that's why I come on here and I keep pushing. I'm not on here, as you guys noticed from the day one that I got on here. I don't I don't come on here to gloat on what I did in prison, or I had the jobs and I did this and I stabbed this, because I promise you there's a lot more things I did in prison that I kept out, because I'm not on here to glorify anything. I'm just on here to show you what prison is like, what game banging is like, and that there's a better way. And I really think that where lies in family. I truly believe, that if you hold your values to your family, and not letting your family down, and enjoying it, you'll be able to enjoy a better life. But please, for those that do want to sit down and have that one-on-one, because you have that experience to expand on the message that I've been putting out so far, please do reach out to the email Tony put out, and so we can set up a date and so we can conversate. Y muchísimas gracias for everyone's kind words, for your prayers, and for trusting me, to those that are going to reach out. And, I understand in the last video someone has said that it sounds too winny. That I can't help. I truly apologize, but like I mentioned before, when I had that heart attack, and that thrombosis in my lungs, I need to be near a fan. It ain't no buts or ifs. I need to always be in front of a fan. So I try to push it as far back as I can, and I put earphones to put the videos out to sound as clear as possible. And so do forgive me. I just thought I would say, the reason why it sounds so windy. Also, for another person to say, not to apologize no more. I always lived under a respect thing, and I don't mean to insult nobody by doing so. Now, if by me doing so I'm coming out to be weak, then I'm weak, because I live by a code of respect. So if I feel I say something out of pocket, and there's no need for me to get out of line or say something that's not towards what I'm speaking, then I'm gonna apologize. It's just, I think by being respectful, somebody should not be measured on how weak and strong he is. But then again, that's just me. It's just how I always been. So I do understand that sometimes I get carried away, because I lose my thought on what I'm saying, so I distract, and I don't want to have you guys jumping from one story to another, or from one thing to another, because I know I come out like a shrimp case, and it is why I apologize. But again, I don't mean to discomfort anybody by doing so. But again, do please reach out. I hope I didn't come out, or at least to let a lot of you down by the way I was when I got busted, or when I was a kid. Again, I didn't get a lot into details, because I know how it sounds, and I know how it is, because me myself, I think about it and I'm like, God damn, you were, so I do understand it. I just wanted to be sincere with you. I could sit here and tell you, I went out and I did this, and I went to town like this and that, and also, I didn't feel no fear, no reaction towards it, or, I was Superman and Batman. Nah, I wasn't. I was a lost kid, acting like a grown up, thinking that hating the world and everything when they didn't even deserve it. And for that, I have no need to hide it. It ain't me no more. That's all I could say. It's not the type of person that I am anymore. And this lady could actually tell you guys. But I just want to be sincere at all times. So again, do please reach out, and so we can start setting up, our conversation, and so we can start putting that message out there. Pues muchísimas gracias, and I'll just leave it at that. Muchas gracias, and as I always tell everybody, please, you know, stay true to yourself and loyal to your family. Always, always, man. Stay true to yourself, most of all. Muy buenas noches y gracias otra vez.